Hey there. Today we're going into a little bit of stuff around if you're a healer or a practitioner that hasn't opened their spiritual abilities fully. What I want to share with you is a little advice from 10 to 15 years of teaching people how to develop their spiritual abilities and also healing. Now, as a first door for individuals to come to me, it's the most inviting door is to do chakra balancing. Now, once people come through the door and they learn a basic foundation, which is the chakras, eventually over time they start to understand that they're going to get more out of their practice if they learn how to develop their skills and hone in on tuning into the different intuitive abilities that they have. What I want to share with you, for example, if you're a sound bowl healer. Now, if you're walking in the door with sort of like a little bit of blinkers on because we're only working with like, oh yeah, it feels nice, you're going to get a lot more out of your service and out of your giving if you develop a couple of really slight things that could help you. So I am here to convince you guys to become better facilitators and healers through your abilities and your spiritual abilities. A lot of it is confidence, and confidence is grown through competence. We need to practice, eventually we get there. Now, with the sound bowls and frequency can remove negative attachments. The only problem is that if we haven't developed our abilities and our insight, say, for example, you're working with 5 people or 20 people, you've got that sound and that movement happening, but if you haven't got your development opened up and you're not fully expanded and aware, what you could gain out of your sessions, if you had that, was a better way to work with people so that you know how and where you're removing negative attachment from a person while doing the sound bowls. For example, it might be a certain frequency that is going to lift and shed a attachment that's coming out of that person's heart chakra. Now, if you haven't got your abilities adept, you're not going to know that this person, this particular person number 3, has got something hanging out the back of their energy in the aura field, right? And if you knew that that was happening and you could see it, or you had asked and picked up these things, you would then go, oh, okay, so I need G frequency specifically for you. And then you would pick up your bowl and come back over and use that bowl. So this is where developing your insight or developing your ability to listen, to hear spirit so that you can communicate. You have a spiritual development guide and you have a healer guide. That healer guide knows the ins and the outs of the modality that you are using. That person is there to guide you, to show you those things. So if you expanded and explored your abilities just that little bit more, you might be able to then have a conversation with them and say to them, okay, guys, what's actually happening in this particular individual? What should I give to that person? And especially in a large group, you've got quite a few energies going on. Attachments can be released and removed from sound frequency, but it will be a certain frequency, which is where sometimes people can walk away feeling extra shattered and extra exhausted. And we don't really want people to walk away feeling more tired and more exhausted. There's a level of like healthy release, and we've actually just moved heaps, and then what we've done is left their energy sort of open and leaky. So once you've gotten right to the end of that, you will want to come back in through and say to yourself, how do I seal the energies in this room? How do I bring that back together so that once we've done the release and we've let go through the energetic frequencies and the harmonics, how do we then use the sound in the same sense to then create a shelter and to reform this individual so that they're not just left a bag of emptiness, which can happen if somebody has a cord and an attachment or an entity or something like that. So this is where I implore you to develop your skills a little bit more. The best healers are those that have actually been using and utilizing dynamics of the dimensional spaces. And we can't do that if we don't explore our abilities and our insight. All right. So I'm going into that room and I'm saying to myself, okay, how? How can I help this particular individual? What energetic frequency do they need? And that's how you can help. All right. And again, like the amount of time that I've been teaching and clairvoyantly open, I can hear spirit, I can see spirit, I can empath people on many levels. So I can feel what people are thinking and feeling behind the conscious. So I can feel what's on the surface of a person, I can feel what's underneath it and what's in the middle ground, and I can feel and sense what has happened in their past for them to get to where they are. Okay? But none of that, well, some of it was natural. Most of that was developed. I had developed every single sort of ability and fine-tuned it. Not very many people will go that all out. I'm just a high achiever, okay? Don't worry. Now, with these 15 years of teaching people and having many people come through the door who have learned Reiki without opening their abilities, Reiki is a very passive energetic frequency. I have nothing against energy healing. I'm an energy healer. I love energy. It is my life. It is my world. But I'm also really into doing things practically, more practically, and doing things in a way that can be more beneficial both to ourselves and to the individual. So having many people come through with a passive modality, which is where you're essentially just a channel. Now, I tell you what, if you have never done healing yourself, if you are watching this and you're like, I'm not a sound bowl healer, I'm not a Reiki practitioner, I've never touched energy, I want you to know that you can, because it is not just a healer that can do it. We are a passive channel when we're using Reiki. Passive, right? We're not doing anything. And we're just letting stuff pass through us. You're a tap. Anybody can be a tap. Anybody can learn to be a tap. So what I'm trying to say is that in that passive state, yet again, we've got a situation where things are just happening, and without our skills developed, we're going, oh, well, that feels weird. Oh, that was weird. Right? Don't you want to take it a little bit further than, oh, that was weird? I don't know what that was. You want to develop your skills and hone in so that you can go, oh, okay, so that's what's happening is like the Reiki has just shifted a past life energy and frequency inside your muscle. Some people can do that with just pure intuition level, but you have to have refined it quite well for you to be able to start intuitively, like, oh, okay, it's past life related. So, well, what we want to do is utilize the passivity and the frequencies and the energies that are passing through us, but add on another level of manual labor or the masculine. This is where we bring both of our worlds together and we learn the structure. And that structure is that we're multidimensional. And so through that process, a Reiki practitioner can become more than a master who can just, do what they do. You can then have true insight and development into the understanding and the awareness that when you're passing that energy through, that is specifically working on the meridian that goes across the channel of the shoulders, and that is holding on or storing the ancestral grief of the woman before you, right? And if we develop our abilities, we're going to be able to pick that up. We're going to see it, we're going to feel it, we're going to hear it, and we can communicate with our guides who are going to tell us these things, okay? So being in that passive state, what I find, this one's really, really, really common, and it makes me very upset, passionately, is that if we're opening our doors energetically and we don't understand this realm, what can happen is somebody will bring in an entity and the practitioner doesn't know what to do and they don't know that they're there, okay? So I implore you to develop your relationship with spirit and open up. By opening up your chakras, just work on one, right? Whether that is throat, so the throat is connected to understanding. So if you clear out the throat and work with this and your ear chakras, right? A lot of people have them lopsided because they're not listening, and they're not listening to spirit, and they're not listening to themselves and their higher good. You're not going to hear spirit then, okay? So we want to work on these areas so that we get them nice and expanded and cleansed and clear. And then we can channel through hearing the exact message that that individual requires during your session. So if I was you, but I'm not you, I am me, yeah, look into how to open up your spiritual abilities just a little bit more. Utilize visualizing more. And how do we connect more clearly with the spirit team who are there for our highest good and for whoever we're holding service for? Because those people, they know what they need, what they want, and if you need a certain frequency for sound, then you're going to pick up on that and you're going to know exactly what needs to be done. Okay. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask, and I'll try and follow up on them at some point.